we Scoble interviewed ServiceNow, and it was funny. We were trying to explain to Scoble what service management was, and no clue. It's just like, oh, it's the engine. Now I can tell him it's the engine, Scoble. It's the engine for the whole thing. What about bring your own device? How do you guys handle that?
That's also welcome.
I'm crying. Oh, God, I'm crying.
So we see all sorts of different smartphones, iPads. Now I've got a MacBook, so I'm talking to you from my MacBook right now. But this is a Rackspace MacBook. But we've got others that say, you know what, I'd rather be on an Air, and that's not a Rackspace offered device. So you can bring your Air in and connect up, and you're good to go.
Yeah, because you are a cloud company.
So there are some things that obviously there are some requirements that we have of personal devices on the network from a security perspective, and so once you pass that test, then you're good to go.
But I guess my point is, it always amazes me, because I talked about this on a few episodes ago. If you're a company where the majority of your work, or you're even a cloud company, should it matter to you how I get there?
No, not at all, right? I mean, that's what cloud's all about.
Well, you would think, but I ran into a situation in my IT department where they forced me to take an Air, and I said, why? And they're like, well, for our application. I'm like, you run a browser. For your email, I use it on my phone. And I said, all right, I'll take it. Just tell me this is absurd. He said, what? I said, tell me what we're doing is absurd. He said, it's absurd. I said, fine, I'll take it.
Enterprises need to pay attention to this. My wife and I were talking about this morning. She's a high school teacher, and she said when kids have problems, they just solve it themselves. It used to be that there was always the tech kid in the class, and maybe the teacher. Like she said, we used to have to teach kids PowerPoint. They'd sit them down in a lab and teach them PowerPoint so they could do a school project based on PowerPoint. And the kids, obviously, after they used it that one time, they realized how stupid it was and never used it again. Now, she said, students come to her and they've already got a Prezi in hand. They haven't said use a presentation. They just do it. And it's the same thing in enterprise, that we're going to have to realize that bring your own device and support yourself. That has to be the next model, because more and more of us are becoming rackers, so to speak, in our abilities and in our technical prowess.
Yeah, absolutely. And that early on, that was the culture at Rackspace, and we've been able to keep it that way as we've grown to 4,000. So I've been here a little over 5 years, and there were about 900 rackers at the time I started, and so I've seen in 5 years that kind of growth. And there's always the concern, because I've gone through this growth wave at my previous company, and there's always the concern that at some point big enterprise just moves in, everything gets corporate, and then you throw all these walls up. And our senior leadership and the board talk